Welcome back, sports fans, to Sports Talk is McKimmie, and we are back. This is Season 2. You thought, last year was a record-breaking podcast. This year, we're going to a whole new level, and we are actually already on the road here for Episode 1 of Season 2. We are actually, this week, following the Arkansas Razorbacks. We're over in Knoxville, Tennessee. We just left Neyland Stadium. We just got back to our hotel room, and we got just a fantastic podcast ahead tonight. We're going to be talking about, of course, the Arkansas Razorbacks. We're going to be talking about Major League Baseball playoffs. We got the NFL. And then we also have a special guest on our show today. The one and only Joey Softball is going to be coming on to talk a little bit about someone that he knows really well, or knew really well, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And, of course, I'm joined by the one and only, the Zen Master himself, the maestro of everything, Mike Kimmie.
Dave, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the second season. So much is happening. How about those Hogs finally getting off the snide and winning a game, close game. So happy to have Joey Softball with us. So happy to have the playoffs coming right up. NFL season starting.
Playoffs? You talking about playoffs?
I'm talking about playoffs, Dave. We're going to be talking about playoffs. What about playoffs? Let's start with playoffs right now. What happened tonight? Max Scherzer, 2 no-hitters in one season.
Yeah, first guy since 1900, the first guy since Nolan Ryan in 1973 to have 2 no-hitters in the same season. And just been an incredible year for him with that. But unfortunately, what's been a great year for him with the 2 no-hitters, we're talking about the chaos that's going on in Washington. We're not talking about the Senate and the Congress. We're talking about the craziness that's going on with the Washington Nationals and their manager, Matt Williams. Does he stay in Washington, Mike?
Yeah, he's got to go, Dave. You're looking at a team for 2 years that Las Vegas pinned as being the World Series champions. And this year, they're not even making the playoffs, not even close. The Mets beat them. And talking about the Mets, they are the team that got no hit tonight. And I'm not much on momentum heading into the playoff series. The Mets are already set. The Mets and the Dodgers are going to be playing. Tonight was a big night because the Mets lost tonight. If coupled with the Dodgers win tonight, and they're up 2-1 as we speak, would result in the Dodgers getting home field advantage. So if they do, thank you, Max Scherzer. I appreciate it, but we got some other things going on. Your Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cubs, of course, are going to be squaring off this week to decide who plays the Cardinals.
Yeah, well, the Pirates, of course, they had an 8-game win streak going into their crucial series with the Cardinals, that the Cardinals ended up winning 2 out of 3. The Cubs are just, seems like the momentum is really building with them. Is this going to be the year that they are going to finally, win a World Series? Is that going to happen? The Cubs, I wasn't believers in them earlier in the year, but they've been consistent over the year and have really come strong in the second half. I think that's going to be a really good game. And yes, I am a Pirates fan, but also I remember that terrible wild card game last year when they played the Giants, and it was like 10-0 in the second inning. So, with those one-game wild cards, you never know on those. It's wide open.
Yeah, and really, no matter which team plays, the Cardinals have to be sitting there thinking, all right, we've got the Mets, the Dodgers, the Cubs, and the Pirates, and they're going to be stuck with playing one of the 2 teams that they would like to play the least.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be a good series. Of course, it's going to start off in St. Louis on Friday. And I think that's really going to be, I think of all the series that we're going to be seeing, that's going to be the most interesting one. Of course, over in the American League, there are still some things to be decided. The home field advantage throughout the playoffs, it looks like it's going to be the Blue Jays taking over home field throughout the playoffs from the Royals. But we still don't know about that last that last wild card spot, whether it's going to be the Angels or whether it's going to be Houston.
Well, I really think out of the American League, I'm thinking it's got to be Kansas City or the Blue Jays are probably my two favorites out of the American League right now. And
Blue Jays are so fun to watch, Dave.
They are. They're an exciting ball team, and first time that they have a chance to be out back in the playoffs since mid-1990s. It's been a long time for Toronto Blue Jay fans. A lot of years without getting to the playoffs, but they're back in the playoffs, and you get to the dance, anything can happen.
Right, and we just got to look forward to these next 3 weeks of ball, and I'm just so excited to see what's going to happen. And, in the National League, my heart is at Chavez Ravine. That's what I'm going to be looking for. That's who I want to win. I don't know what to expect because every team that the Dodgers will be pitted up against, they have a losing record against, but that doesn't matter. They lost 11 out of 12 to the Mets in 1988, and so that's what I was saying about momentum earlier. Momentum doesn't mean anything once you get into a series, and they do have the third and fourth spots in the rotation are so weak, but they got Greinke and Kershaw to go in games 1 and 2, but we could sit here and talk about series after series after series, but I think that we should make a pick right now. Who do you see in the American League Championship Series and the National League Championship Series? And we can wrap up this segment.
Well, I'll say out of the American League, I'm thinking Kansas City Royals. Once they've been there, they got that experience last year. It was a shock last year, but this year they're expected to be there. And from when we went and saw them personally back in July, they look like they are primed to make a run. Out of the National League, I do have to say right now probably the Cardinals are probably my favorite to win the National League right now. Even though I'm a Pirates fan, I would love to see my Pirates knock off the St. Louis Cardinals, but the Cardinals are the more experienced team, and until they can get knocked off, it's going to be hard to beat. But I think, probably the Cardinals or the Dodgers are probably the top two favorites. I'd love to see my Pirates knock one of them off.
Well, I'm gonna say, probably make a prediction for the NLCS. It's not going to be popular in my own house, but I expect Pittsburgh to beat the Cubs, and I expect the Dodgers to beat the Mets, and both of those could be completely wrong. But once that's done, I expect a repeat of so much of the baseball that we've seen in the past from the 70s and before. I expect to see the Dodgers and the Pirates face off. It's going to be Dave versus Mike. And in the American League, I expect to see the top two teams. I don't think Texas, Houston, or the Angels can match up with the Blue Jays or Kansas City. So that's what I expect to see. And I think those are the teams that are going to be winning. All they can do is win.
Well, compared to, at least they're winning. Of course, we know, like we talked at the beginning, the Nationals would love to be in that position, and they're not. And it's been another painful year for the Nationals.
Bye-bye, Matt.